Well, this is a little awkward. I got the timing wrong, so by the time you see this video, Christmas will have already passed us. This technically should have come out a week ago. But oh well. At the very least, how was your Christmas if you celebrated? Hopefully it was a great one. Mine hasn't happened yet, so I'm stuck in the past while all of you have had your fun already. If you all recall, last year for the holiday season we found ourselves analog horrors that fit the Christmas spirit, or at least was Christmas related in any way. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for round 2. Normally the last thing you think about when it comes to Christmas is horror, but there has been quite a large amount of Christmas horror movies to come out. Hell, we even not that long ago had a recent addition to the list with Terrifier 3. It's been a while since I've seen it, but I have been wanting to revisit a Christmas horror story for a long time now as well. I'm sure it's incredibly stupid, but I remember it at least being pretty fun. But we are not here to go over Christmas horror movies, but Christmas analog horror. Who thought that combination would ever exist? Most of you should actually recognize the creators of what we have to go over, Foxymations and Baddington. I knew that there was a Harmony and Horror Christmas special, I just had never gotten around to checking it out. As always, be sure to check out the original series. I'll have them all linked down below in the description. But without further ado, let's put on our protective gear and gotta stay warm in these freezing times. And let's head out into the wonderful, terrifying world of Christmas analog horror. But before I let you get too far, just wanted to say if you're new here and enjoy what you're watching, be sure to hit all those neat buttons down below as it really helps support the channel. I'll also have linked in the description below our socials and the 4-player gaming channel where we dive into the terrifying world of horror video games. But anyways, now you can pass through. The Christmas Route. This video opens up, and we are met with this neat holiday intro. We're then met with Santa himself, telling us all about what makes Christmas so great. Turns out he'll be the narrator in this story, as he introduces us to Daniel, who is currently packing his bags to spend Christmas at home with his family. It's December 23rd, and we can see Daniel as he packs. And I gotta be honest, Daniel sounds a lot like Pinocchio from that recent monstrosity. You all know the one I'm talking about.
Father, when can I leave to be on my own? I've got the whole world to see.
I love spending Christmas at my parents' house. I even prepared a little gift for them.
Daniel, equipped with a mini Santa, a t-shirt, and a flashlight, slams his suitcase shut, ready to put it all in the car and to hit the road. We open the door and can see it is storming quite heavily, but we head out anyways. Daniel is understandably pretty freezing. He puts on his hat and starts to walk to the car. We are now off on our long Christmas journey. While driving, we turn on the radio just in time to learn about some frightening news. Apparently, there has been an influx of driver disappearances after driving past a gas station that is said to have been abandoned for years. According to reports, drivers would see someone standing out in front of the gas station, and then a little while later would vanish without a trace, never to be seen again. We hear that this has brought out conspiracy theories as to what could be going on. It could be paranormal. It could be the government. Who knows? We are then told to be careful and to avoid abandoned gas stations. Daniel turns the radio off and scoffs at the idea of a haunted gas station. As a matter of fact, Daniel claims to have never seen a gas station at all while going down that route. All of a sudden, we are in desperate need of fuel, even though Daniel recalls getting gas only a few days ago. It'd be a perfect time for said abandoned gas station to show itself. Sure enough, we end up finding ourselves a Route 47 gas station. Daniel is shocked because, like he said prior, he has never seen one on this road. However, this gas station doesn't look abandoned, or that anything paranormal could be going on. We end up cutting away from Daniel and find ourselves at this decorated house. Turns out this is Daniel's parents' house. They must not communicate very well because it doesn't sound like they even know if Daniel is coming for Christmas or not. I guess he has just done it enough times that it's just expected at this point. We see his mom pull out the gift they got Daniel. Apparently it's a toy he always played with as a child. Now I may just be paranoid, but doesn't that look awfully similar to the wolf from previous entries on this channel? We may actually get a clue to that based on what happens next. The same warning that played in the car then gets played off the home radio, and his parents seem to be quite worried now about the state of Daniel, just hoping that he makes it so that they can stop questioning if he has vanished. We then cut back to Daniel filling up his car, and once the car is fully filled, Daniel then begins to feel hungry, and decides to head into the gas station to find some snacks. Sounds like he has just completely forgotten what he had just heard on the radio. Once inside, the mood begins to tense up. There isn't anyone around, just this Christmas tree hanging out in the corner. We find ourselves a seat at the bar, and just wait for someone to come help us. At some point, you might as well just go behind the counter yourself. But that won't be necessary after this creepy-ass bastard shows herself.
How can I help you?
We ask for a coffee as the employee continues to just loom ominously in the dark. Even Daniel says that she is strange, and he showed himself to be a bit of an airhead. The gears then begin to turn in Daniel's head, as he realizes again that he doesn't remember this gas station being here. You don't say. The employee then returns and hands us our coffee. We take a few sips, and it looks like we may have consumed the coffee of eternal despair. The whole scene goes black around Daniel. The creepy employee then asks us if something was wrong with the coffee, before we then drop the mug to the floor. We hold our hands up and everything looks blurry. Daniel begins to question if something was put in his coffee, and I don't blame him, as it looks like something was definitely slipped in that drink. We then see Daniel again. He looks pretty deformed, certainly not looking very good. The lady apologizes for the fact that we did not like the coffee, and offers us a gift to make up for the mistake. Oddly enough, this looks just like the gift our parents had got us. We take the toy from our hands and stare at it. The lady then slowly disappears, and the background turns red, and we are faced with quite the bizarre scene. Turns out the whole thing was a nightmare. Daniel wakes up at the bar and looks around, and the place looks even worse than it did before. It's much more clearly abandoned. We go to leave, but there is still the employee in the back, fetching us our coffee. She tries to remind us that our coffee is almost done, but thankfully Daniel just continues to walk to the door. She tries once more to get us to stop, trying to tell us that we can celebrate Christmas together. Yeah, no thanks. We walk out of the building, and Daniel says that he is now starting to believe the stuff the radio had said. You only now believe? Anyways, we get back in the car and are back on the road. Daniel can't help but to think about the whole encounter, questioning the nightmare he had featuring his childhood toy, and even the fact that even though the gas station was abandoned, his car has a full tank. He believes that this place was made to haunt him specifically. Daniel then looks over, and in a shocking turn of events, the toy is sitting on his passenger seat, to which then the scene that follows, I have to admit, made me chuckle a little bit.
What is this fucking plushie doing here?
I'm sorry, it's just the way that he reacts to the toy to then just hard cut to the creepy employee. It was just so jarring to see. The next thing we are met with is an image of the crashed car, and then Daniel laying on his side. The eyes of that snow creature then appear before we cut to black. Once we return, we can see Daniel in the forest. In front of him is this tree with a calendar telling us it's Christmas Day. This obviously doesn't make any sense to Daniel, considering he left a couple days ago. Quite the haunting voice can then be heard coming from behind us, saying that it can explain what is happening to us. Turns out it's that life-size snow wolf creature. He tells us that we are in fact dead, and that we should have listened to the radio. Since we didn't listen, now we are here. Turns out he is the snow wolf, apparently the evil spirit of Christmas. This sounds like Krampus. Maybe it's his cousin. However, he now owns Daniel's soul, and he is going to turn him into a Christmas toy. Daniel begins to haul ass in the other direction, and the snow wolf slowly hobbles after him. There's a brief moment where we cut to found footage format as we run through the snow, but we pretty quickly go back into 2D animation. As Daniel runs through the woods, he then finds himself at his parents' house. He quickly runs inside and asks for his parents' help. The two of them are facing away from him, not responding. The two of them then turn around, and we can see that they have a similar look to Daniel when he had that coffee. We can then see the snow wolf standing in the doorway. Daniel backs away in fear, and the scene we are met with next is incredibly fucking loud. The next thing we then see is the snow wolf sitting at his little desk, as he presumably constructs a little Daniel toy. Sure enough, he walks off to show off his prized creation, looking straight at a Coraline with those button eyes. It then cuts to a year later, the following Christmas, as Daniel's parents stand at his grave, leaving behind the snow wolf plush, to which the last thing we see is Daniel's toy then appear before this tape ends. This was certainly an interesting experience. It was cool to get a different Christmas monster that isn't just Krampus, but a new concept entirely. It'd actually be pretty frightening if there was an evil Christmas spirit who went around turning people into toys. Perhaps that is what happened in Toy Story. My Two Front Teeth Harmony and Horror Christmas Special. Harmony and Horror is a series that a lot of you probably recognize, so I'm sure it doesn't come as a shock to learn that there is a Christmas special that came out a couple years ago. According to the description, this entry isn't canon, so even if you haven't seen the series, it shouldn't leave you feeling confused, even though you should check out the series because it's worth it. The entry begins and we are met with the opening for an episode titled My Two Front Teeth, presented by Batmation Studios. The episode begins, and the first thing we are met with is this snowy setting, where we can see this incredibly disturbing moon and this small cabin off to the side. We see the date is December 21st, and are introduced to Sophia and Henry. Henry talks about how it is way too cold, to which Sophia then holds up Ava and says that he should be bundled up just like her. This is when we are then introduced to the parents, Gloria and Martin. A very brief recap: Martin here in the main series is a toy maker who partners with his brother Arthur. Martin then proceeds to make some kind of deal with the devil so that he can be successful, but he also now kills people and makes them into his toys. A common theme for this video, I suppose. The doorbell rings, and based on what we see in the window, I don't think I'd open that door. Sophia goes and opens the door anyways, and we are met with Uncle Arthur. He hands Sophia a paper and pencil so she can write her Christmas list. Sophia isn't sure what she wants, but she then gets the idea that she wants her 2 front teeth. The next segment we get essentially is just Sophia singing the song about wishing for her 2 front teeth. The whole scene is very abruptly interrupted by this horrific image of this goat and a bunch of this red text that translates to wear his skin, burn her, take his eyes, rip his arms, take her jaw, eat, eat, eat. Well, that's not ominous at all. We end up returning to Sophia as she hands Martin her Christmas list. He heads out to the mailbox in a new 8-bit style and stores the letter away, ready to be sent to Santa. It's honestly a little weird seeing these characters interacting like a real happy family, considering the main series is not like this at all, but I have a feeling this optimistic vibe is going to be changing very soon. We cut to found footage as we see Martin walking through the snow. It's unclear what his destination is, but he quickly runs into something he probably shouldn't have. All we are then met with is the snowman hanging out in the center. Sophia is then seen talking to her mother, complaining that she ate too much and doesn't feel good. Gloria tells her maybe she should just get some sleep, and sure enough, that's what Sophia decides to do next. We are then met with this extremely strange segment.
Help me, find me, help me, find me.
It looked like Gloria in the middle of a forest, just asking for someone to help her, to find her. We are then met with 2 snowmans. Uh-oh. I have a feeling we are about to see a whole family of snowmen. It's now December 22nd, and Arthur is asking for Sophia. At least it sounded like Arthur. Sophia exits her room and sees Gloria just hanging out super creepily down the hallway. Sophia and Henry then meet up with Arthur in the living room. He hands Sophia a present from Martin that she is not allowed to open until Christmas. Apparently, Martin doesn't feel good, so the 3 of them are going to make him Christmas cookies to make him feel better. The cookies quickly are finished, and as we can see, he made 6 cookies. One of them looks a little burnt there, Arthur. When asked about it, he says that it was imperfect, before we get this color-burned version of the title card jumping out at us. The next scene plays out similarly to that of which we have seen before. Sophia tells Arthur that she isn't feeling too good, and that she ate too much. Just like Gloria, Arthur tells her to go get sleep, to which she then does. Now, however, we then see a pixelated version of Arthur, and it looks like his eyes go missing, before we get a very frightening look at what happened to him. Sure enough, there are now 3 snowmen, and it's now December 23rd, and the house is rather empty. Sophia is having trouble finding Arthur, to which Henry proposes the idea to go look for him. This scene doesn't last long, however, as we quickly cut to this segment where it looks like a bunch of Sophia dolls just hanging out together. The one's head on the bottom then starts to slowly move. Don't think I didn't catch that. Then the one up top looks directly at us, before it looks to be a porcelain baby head floats up from the center, and we get to hear what sounds like rapid footsteps running towards us. We are then taken to the hallway, as Henry's name gets called out at the end. Henry then finds himself in this dark room. He isn't sure what he sees off screen, but whatever it was looked to have turned him into this puppet counterpart, to which we then see 4 snowmen. We then see Sophia sleeping in her bed, to which the door swings open, and Gloria enters. She slowly gets closer and closer to Sophia as she sleeps, and I gotta say, Gloria looks quite frightening. We then cut to the next day, now Christmas Eve, and we can hear Ava crying somewhere in the house. Sophia walks around trying to find her, but is having no luck. The scene gets more and more tense as this music player gets louder and louder. Sophia tries calling out to Henry and Gloria, but no one is answering. She then finds herself in a similar dark room, and down at the very end we see Gloria. The sight of her frightens Sophia, and she yells out that she isn't her mother. She bangs on the door to try and leave, until she turns around and sees what looks like Martin, also looking as mangled as ever. The next thing we are then met with is Sophia in toy form, strapped down as she begins to thrash around trying to escape. We then see probably the most disturbing visual yet, with Sophia looking like her jaw has been ripped off, to which we then see 5 snowmen, all bloodied with censored faces. It's now Christmas Day on this blood-covered calendar, and in one of the more disturbing turn of events, the last thing we are met with in this entry is a dead baby Ava inside a Christmas box. I always forget just how gruesome and haunting Harmony and Horror is, and this little Christmas special just proved to me I can't underestimate it. This entry was actually pretty enjoyable, as is most of Baddington's work. Like I said earlier, it was pretty odd to see this family actually interacting with each other. I'm too used to seeing them dead or trying to kill each other. I really liked the subtle clues that were provided all throughout the entry. Right at the beginning, we are met with that demonic goat image, with the text that essentially lists off the way the family members died. Arthur had his eyes taken, Sophia had her jaw taken, and Gloria was burned to death. Probably the most haunting foreshadowing would have to be Ava being in the Christmas box. Sophia refers to Ava as a cute little Christmas present in the very beginning, and when Arthur hands her the box, he says it's quite heavy. Ava is then nowhere to be found when she starts to cry. Truly some sickening stuff, I gotta say. It's pretty funny how this video ended up having a similar and frightening Christmas theme, being turned into toys. Harmony and Horror didn't show off too much toy turning, but the original series does, so I'd say it counts. It was cool to get to revisit these channels to check out the work they put out for the holiday season, returning to Foxymations to follow Daniel on his way back to his parents, only to be caught in a haunted gas station and hunted by the Snow Wolf. Then we jumped back into the Harmony and Horror spirit with its Christmas special that was as brutal as ever. If you haven't checked out either of these creators before, I can highly recommend that you do. But that'll probably be about it for this video. I hope you all had a wonderful holiday season this year and a great new year since this is the last video of 2025. It's truly been a crazy year over at 4Plus, and I have all of you to thank for it. Your support is truly appreciated, and I foresee a lot of good things coming our way in 2026. Hopefully one of those things is GTA 6. But as always, be sure to keep on leaving me recommendations down below, whether it be in the YouTube comments or the community Discord where we listen to the radio warnings. But if you'll excuse me, I gotta go get my letter to Santa ready before it's too late for me.